Now to the day's other big stories. We're seeing escalating violence in the Middle East. Kuwait has suspended commercial flights after an Iranian drone attack hit the country's airport, injuring multiple people and killing at least one person there. Video shows debris burning in a parking lot in Kuwait after the army said it was responding to missile and drone threats. Yesterday, Iran and the U.S. traded multiple attacks. The U.S. military says it launched strikes on an Iranian military facility in retaliation for Iranian missiles fired at Kuwait and Bahrain. Military officials say the strike in Bahrain failed. Tehran says it launched its attack in response to the U.S. striking this oil tanker. The U.S. claims the vessel was trying to breach its blockade. CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd joins us for more on this development. Good morning, Sam. Just walk us through these attacks that we've seen in the last 24 hours. Clearly, the ceasefire is not in effect, and the talks that we were looking at this past weekend have failed.
Well, Errol, I actually disagree a bit. The ceasefire still remains in effect in principle. Having been involved, for better or for worse, in various negotiations, there are often incidents that violate the ceasefire, but both parties have an interest in maintaining it, so it does remain in effect. At this point, what's unclear is whether mediators behind the scenes can negotiate any kind of off-ramp so that this violence doesn't escalate further. The United States has very carefully messaged that its attacks against Iran and this attack against the oil tanker have been really in self-defense. There were strikes by the United States against Iranian territory over the past few days. Again, CENTCOM has very carefully messaged that those were defensive. And Iran has messaged that these attacks against neighbors, Bahrain, Kuwait, and others, have been in response. So we are certainly in a tit-for-tat escalatory cycle, while both parties, for the time being, are indicating that the ceasefire is still in effect.
Fascinating to me that you still feel that the framework of the ceasefire is in effect despite these clashes. I know that yesterday lawmakers pressed Secretary of State Marco Rubio on specifically what the administration is willing to offer Tehran in exchange for an agreement to end this war. Let's just listen to what he said.
Iran is being sanctioned because they enrich uranium. Iran is being sanctioned because they've highly enriched uranium. Iran is being sanctioned because of their nuclear activities. If they agree to give up those things, there will be sanctions relief associated with their commitment and compliance with those agreements.
You will not give sanctions relief just in exchange for reopening the strait.
No, that's not been discussed. That's not been offered.
What is your take on this, Sam? Because anything that resembles the JCPOA, the previous U.S.-Iran agreement, would be something this administration would bristle at, considering they ripped it up. So what's your take?
One would think, but we'll see how the negotiations go. I think that the ceasefire will remain in effect for as long as the United States judges that Iran is actually committed to some sort of diplomatic negotiation. With respect to what Marco Rubio said yesterday, we have to remember that under the Iran nuclear deal in 2015, there was not immediate sanctions relief. Sanctions relief was given once Iran took verifiable steps to start to dismantle its nuclear program. So Rubio is really saying that there would not be a cash flow for Iran before there were certain steps taken. What we don't know, Errol, is what incentive is being given to Iran so that they actually agree to open the strait, so that they actually have some sort of confidence that Trump isn't just going to engage in negotiations as a ruse to get Iran to open the strait and then start bombing again. So I do think there will be some kind of incentive given to Iran just to get them to meaningfully get to the negotiating table and to ultimately sign some sort of interim agreement and ultimately, hopefully, a more comprehensive framework.
We'll keep our eyes peeled for that. Sam Vinograd joining us from Bethesda this morning. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.